Hello YouTube! So this month I added 9 new books to my collection, and I also made the personal decision to stop adding new books to my collection for a little while until I read some of these. So hopefully this will be my last book haul for a little while. We'll see. I'm gonna try really hard. But anyway, here's what I got. First, I was suckered into another book outlet sale. I only bought 2 books, so I felt pretty good about that. But one of them was Rowell's Attachments. I didn't feel bad about this purchase at all because I've been really wanting to read this book. I've loved basically all of her other books, and this is another one of her more adult type books, and I preferred Landline to the other 2 that I read, which were both YA books. So I'm really looking forward to reading this, and I've wanted it, and so whatever, I bought it. Then I bought Anna Dressed in Blood by Kendar Blake. This was almost one of the restricted section book club book of the month books. It was at least nominated a couple months in February, I believe. And it sounded really good, and so I picked it up to read on my own anyway, and it's about ghosts, and I like ghost books. This next book that I bought, I literally bought at a Rite Aid on the rack of books that has like Nicholas Sparks books on it. But the reason that I bought it is because for the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge, one of the challenges is to read a book with an author who has the same initials as you. And KH is not a very popular initial set for authors. I actually looked it up on like Wikipedia, and there are very, very few authors who wrote anything of note with those initials. But I was just looking. I just happened to like walk by and look over it, and I found this Broken Bonds, a Cold Creek novel by Karen Harper, KH. And it didn't look like a book that makes me want to gouge my eyes out. So who knows? It sounds like something like someone's aunt would read, but I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it because I'm committed to this reading challenge, and this was the best KH book I could find. Okay, next I got 172 Hours on the Moon by Johan Harstad. This is about 3 teenagers who get sent to live on the moon because they won something that NASA did, some lottery about going living on the moon, I guess. I bought this knowing very little about it, except that most people's reviews on Goodreads were like, ah, this book, ah. And I really like books that make you make that face, like, ah. So I just bought it because I really like that kind of stuff. But this was one of the very last book impulse buys that I'm gonna let myself make for a while, because now I need to read them. Okay, this book was actually sent to me. This was an unsolicited ARC. Woman After All, Sex, Evolution, and the End of Male Supremacy by Melvin Connor, MD. I am trying to read more nonfiction, and I'm a big feminist, and I think that this book sounds cool. This is actually the second copy of this book that I've been sent unsolicited. I had the paperback ARC was sent to me, and I actually think I mentioned it in my big book haul in January. So I actually gave that copy to a friend of mine who also likes these kinds of books, and I kept this nice hardback version for myself, and so I will be at least paging through this one very soon because I'm interested in what it has to say. The next book that I got was also a purchase specifically for the Pop Sugar Reading Challenge. I needed to find a book that was published in the year that I was born, and again, 87, not really a big year for the kind of books that I'm into reading. But I did find out that Douglas Adams' Dirk Gently's Holistic Detective Agency was in fact published in 1987. And so on the way to an appointment that I had the other day, I walked by this used bookstore, I popped in, I bought this for $4, I popped out, and I've never actually read this, and so I'm really excited to finally check it off my list and get to check that challenge off of my reading challenge. I got another unsolicited book. I'm actually completely baffled as to why this was sent to me. It did not really have a note at all. But I was sent The Fifth Wave. And I believe that a lot of the sequels are, probably because the movie is coming out soon. I don't know when, but it does say soon to be a major motion picture on the front. So I was probably given this book so that I could read it and then go to the movie and then talk about it. But again, there was no notes. But I've heard really good things about this. It's an alien book. One of my friends just finished reading it and she really liked it. So I'll be reading it. 2 more. Next, I got The Diviners by Libba Bray. I really like Libba Bray, and I heard pretty good things about this book. I've actually heard some mixed reviews. And so now I'm a little nervous because it's a big old book. It's a really big book. Yeah, that's gonna take me a while. So I'll be reading this, but I'm not sure when. Okay, the last book I'm going to talk about today that I bought in February, I am actually the most excited about, and I'll probably read first out of all of these, and that is Vicious by V.E. Schwab. Everybody talks about this book, especially because everyone's reading A Darker Shade of Magic right now. A lot of people's reviews of that book have been, it was great, but not as good as Vicious. And so since this is like everyone's favorite book, and because Victoria Schwab is amazing, and I mentioned her on Twitter the other day, I didn't like reply her, I just mentioned her, and she like found it and responded and now follows me on Twitter, which is awesome. Hello, Victoria Schwab, you are great. I feel like I need to probably read her books now because of that whole exchange. So I'm very, very, very excited to read this. So that's it, 9 new books. My TBR is currently clocking in around like 56 unread books. Not feeling very good about that. And I've been really, really inspired by Raylene's Zero TBR challenge. She's not really buying any new books and she's trying to read her entire TBR. I don't know if I have that kind of self-control, but I do really like the idea of reading the books that I have and not just letting the pile of books I haven't read become overwhelming. Let me know how you guys are doing. Let me know how many books you have on your shelf that you haven't read down in the comments below, because it always makes me feel better. And I just find that to be kind of an interesting thing. Like, why do we do that, you know? And it's like, why do we keep needing new books? Because it's not like the old books suck. You know, I have lots of books on my shelf that I am so pumped to read, and yet I still buy new ones anyway. So yeah, let's talk about that a little bit down in the comments, and thank you guys for watching. I'll be back soon, probably with my March wrap up, and that's all. Bye!